I'm ready.
Good evening, everyone. I'd like to welcome you to the Newman City Council regular meeting, June 12, 2018. Would everyone please stand for the pledge of allegiance of the flag and remain standing for the invocation. Ready to begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Would you like for me to give you a formula for success? It's quite simple, really. Double your rate of failure. You are thinking of failure as the enemy of success, but it isn't at all. You can be discouraged by failure, or you can learn from it. So go ahead and make mistakes. Make all you can, because remember, that's where you will find success. That's from Thomas J. Watson. Let's pray. Most gracious Father, we thank you tonight for the opportunity to serve our community. We thank you for those that are present. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Could we have roll call, please?
Councilmember McDonald?
Here.
Graham?
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Candia?
Here.
Day?
Here.
Mayor Martina?
Here. Declaration of conflict of interest.
None.
None.
Tonight, we have the general matter for Proclamation Disability Awareness Month. And Carolyn is going to receive the proclamation. So if we go up to the podium.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's interesting, this proclamation tonight, I think you appreciate it more and more as you get older, and then you understand what a lot of people are going through, so it means a lot to me. Anyway, whereas the City Council of the City of Newman has recognized healthy communities as a priority, and whereas disabilities can affect all people, regardless of race, age, gender, or social status, the essence of life is not embodied by physical or mental perfection, but is an integral part of the human spirit. And whereas the increasing public awareness about diverse abilities is vital to fighting the stigma and discrimination that often serves as a barrier to employment, socialization, and individual well-being. And whereas there are an estimated 4,206,918 people with disabilities in the state of California, and over 75,890 people over the age of 5 with disabilities in Stanislaus County. And whereas within the next year, at least 1 out of 8 Californians will experience a disability personally or through a family member. And whereas the City of Newman wants to celebrate and recognize people with different abilities. And whereas people with different abilities are independent, productive, and part of the community. And whereas education, understanding, assess engagements, and relationships, and an important component of connecting livable, healthy communities. And whereas communities thrive when residents appreciate the unique gift inside people of all abilities. And whereas by developing relationships with our neighbors, we make our community a better place where people participate as a valued member. And whereas the Society for Disabilities will commence on June 2018 and June thereafter as Disability Awareness Month. Now therefore, I, Bob Martina, Mayor, on behalf of the Newman City Council, do hereby proclaim the month of June as Disability Awareness Month in the City of Newman and urge all citizens to become aware of the needs and capabilities of persons with disabilities. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, City Council. On behalf of the over 75,890 people in Stanislaus County with a disability, thank you. I know I have a set speech, but I just want to remind everybody that's 4,000 more than just last year in Stanislaus County alone. For 8 years, June has been declared Disabilities Awareness Month. This year our theme is See the Abilities in Everyone. You will see this in our Facebook posts, our speaking presentations, as well as the programs we offer in June, which include Day on the Farm, the Miss Stanislaus Spirit Princess Pageant, and the Adaptive Water Ski Program. The Society for Disabilities enhances the quality of life for people with disabilities. Every day we keep our See the Abilities in Everyone theme. We think Stevie Wonder said it best. We all have ability. The difference is how we use it. We help people use their abilities through our durable medical equipment loan closet and our recreational and social programs. Through our programs, people with disabilities increase their independence and or included in activities which were never possible for them to participate. We provide the opportunity to water ski, winter ski, ice skate, ride a horse, bowl, be a princess, play baseball, or go to a prom. Activities that most parents never thought their child with a disability would be able to do. And yes, with the right equipment, volunteers, and community support, we see every day there is ability in every disability. Now, since you brought it up and people aging, we do have that durable medical equipment loan closet. And I got to tell you, for people that fall through the cracks, you hand them a wheelchair or a walker or even a bedside commode, and they are pretty excited because they didn't have that. And if anybody is sitting on equipment that their aunt used and they're going to, oh, somebody else in the family is going to need it, donate it and let us get it to someone. Because by the time that somebody else in your family needs it, there's going to be something better. So on behalf of the over 75,000 people in our county, this proclamation is greatly, greatly appreciated. Thank you for your help to increase awareness of disabilities. We at the Society want to remind you to see the abilities in everyone. And thank you and have a great evening.
Can I say something? May I say something at this point? I didn't catch your name.
Hi, I'm Carolyn Texera Gomez. I'm the Director of Development, which includes doing anything possible in a 7-member staff.
Okay. Well, let me say this.
And she's very Portuguese.
Yes.
Let me say this, that as a Christian, we say God has blessed certain people do certain tasks. And I think that he has, basically blessed you to the point where he has a task for you.
Oh, thank you.
And there's not many people out there that will step up for people that are struggling with disabilities,
Okay.
and especially our special need kids. And for people like yourself that step up and do that work,
Oh,
we
you're going to make
take
me
our
cry.
hats off to you.
Okay, can
God
I give you a
bless
hug?
Thank you again, Carol.
Thank you.
Item 7, items to the public, these non-agenda items. If anyone would like to speak to council, please go to the podium, state your name and address for the record.
Good evening, City Council members. My name is Rosalie Hurst, and I reside at 1447 Q Street in Newman. And I wrote this down so that I can try to get through this. On June the 5th, 2018, our community lost a most valued member, Debbie Cardona. She served on the Newman Partnership with me. She was in charge of at least 4 major organizations that serve our community: Salvation Army, Food for Families, Newman Tots, and Westside Senior Awareness, all of which are under the umbrella of the Newman Partnership. She was also a major figure working on our first time Newman Trunk or Treat. Several of us have felt that because Debbie was such a service to our community, she should be honored with a city bench, either on Main Street or a bus stop bench with an LED lighted shade at Inyo and Highway 33 at the bus stop. So I did give a photo of that one because it's different. I have given you that picture. What we would like to know is exactly how do we proceed with this request of the city council? Would you need a written proposal, a signed petition, or both? And I would appreciate if you could give us some direction this evening, and I thank you, and I'm respectfully submitting this. And so if you have any comments where you can help us, I would appreciate it.
Well, Rosie, tonight we can't act.
I know that,
But
yeah.
we can certainly review this because everyone knew all the things that David had put together and salvation army. He was just a wonderful volunteer. So I think we can give it staff to take a look at. What would be appropriate to honest all that.
Yeah, let us do a little bit of research, and then we can reach out to Ms. Hurst and,
Okay.
and lay out a formula for bringing something forward to the council at a later date.
Yes. That
And
sounds
with
great.
that in mind, so will we keep, we'll be kept abreast in terms of how this is rolling along?
Yeah, ultimately, you'll have to come back and approve something if it makes it that far. So.
Yes,
That
I
is
knew you
just-
couldn't approve it this evening, but I just wanted to
Yeah, we
approach
just
it.
need to do some internal stuff, review.
Okay. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Important to say those words about Debbie.
Yeah, she was an important lady.
And with that, is there anyone else that would like to speak to the council? If you would to the podium and state your name and address for the record.
Kern Honeywell, 768 R Street in Newman here. Hi, Jim. Got an email from Michael and said you wanted to hear about mosquito abatement. I panicked because I know most of you and I can talk all the time with you and enjoy it, but not in this forum. So I thought, oh my gosh, I'm going to bring David and David's going to do all the talking. So I've been on the board as Newman's representative for quite a few years. One of the best things we've ever done is hire David. He's implemented lots of new programs and saved the district lots of money in the process. And with that, I'll let David talk.
Yes. To skip the slides, you just hit enter?
Arrow.
Arrow, okay. Hey, so I just want to thank the council and thank Michael and Mike for reaching out and having me out here today. Thank you to Kern for the wonderful introduction. That's me, David Heff, Turlock Mosquito Abatement District. And, you know, I've been listening in the audience, and we've been talking a lot about community service and serving those in need and whatnot. And that is something that I take to heart as part of the Mosquito Abatement District, because we are here to protect the public. Some of the individuals who contract West Nile virus end up disabled. So these are things that are close to my heart as well, and so I appreciate the opportunity to come out and speak with you guys and give you an annual update on what we're doing, you know, in the community out here. And so this is some of the data that we collected from last year. If you remember, you know, a year goes fast, but sometimes it seems a long time ago too. We had a lot of flooding last year. The levees had seeped, and we were getting tons and tons of flooding. Out here at Fisherman's Bend, where you see up towards this area up here, that was all underwater last year, and where the rivers come together. And we were seeing mosquitoes a lot earlier. We were already in full swing in like March and April. And we're just now getting into full swing now in June in a normal year. We were fully at it last year. And so we really battled a long year last year. We did make an attempt to get some FEMA reimbursement because President Trump did declare California a state of emergency due to the flooding. Stanislaus County was included in that. Things were looking really good until tornado season in Florida and Texas, and FEMA's budget pretty much got wiped out, so we ended up not getting any reimbursement last year. But that's why we have a reserve, and so we'll work on it in the next few years to try to rebuild our reserves back up. And so you can see that in Stanislaus County in total, we had 30 humans that had the neuroinvasive form of West Nile virus. There's 3 different kind of levels. Many people get West Nile virus and it's just the flu. You go to the doctor says, hey, drink fluids, and it's a viral thing. There's not a whole lot we can do for you, and you go home. There's the neuroinvasive form. That's where you're having, major symptoms. That's when they'll actually run blood tests and start testing for different things. And these folks are typically hospitalized. They have long-term effects. Some have to relearn how to eat and walk and different things. And then obviously the worst case scenario is fatalities. We had 30 individuals that were hospitalized last year from West Nile virus. We had 8 birds and 196 mosquito samples. The good news is we didn't have any known cases or any serious cases in Newman. And so that's really good. And one of those reasons is because you can look at the kind of the heat map here. This is mosquitoes coming in from Merced County and a lot of these duck club and refuge areas out here. China Island is one of them. That's a big issue for us. You can see this is in town. And that heat map represents mosquito hotspots and virus activity. So our experience has been very successful in keeping it out of town and keeping it out into the rural areas where it's away from folks. And so we continue to do that, but I want to impress on the council and you're the leadership of your community to try to get this message out to your folks. During the summer, there's a very high number of mosquitoes that are positive for West Nile virus. And so if folks are out in the evening and mosquitoes are present, you should definitely wear repellent because as the summer wears on and the heat gets hotter and hotter, the number of mosquitoes that test positive for West Nile goes through the roof. So it's a serious issue. Well, we had a bit of an interesting thing last year. The St. Louis encephalitis, which is a virus very similar to West Nile. It's in fact the native virus. West Nile's kind of a imported thing that came in from Europe and came in through New York and spread across the United States about 15 years ago. St. Louis was our native virus. This is the one that most districts were formed because of. Well, it disappeared as soon as West Nile got on the scene. You stopped picking it up. West Nile just outcompeted it. And for the first time in decades, we're collecting St. Louis encephalitis virus in and around the city of Newman. There are 2 things at play. They've done some DNA work on the virus. It's not the same virus that we're used to. It's a variant from South America. So we're thinking that's playing a part in how competitive it is with West Nile. And the other thing is all that flooding last year. It really changed the normal species balance. We had different mosquitoes at higher levels last year because of all that floodwater. And those particular species are very capable of transmitting St. Louis encephalitis. We had pools of mosquitoes in the Newman area that had both St. Louis and West Nile in the same sample. So it was a very active year last year, and we were very pleased that we didn't have any human cases out this way because this was a very big area concern. This is from our website, and so folks can go on our website at any time. These yellow and orange circles are going to correspond to dead birds or mosquito trap positives. So you can see that these orange ones are dead birds that we've collected. You can see that these yellows are mosquito traps that are just popping up all over the place that are positive for virus activity. And you see this red kind of polygon box deal here. That's a mission. It could be a ground mission or it could be an aerial mission. And this, when you put your cursor over it, it'll tell you in these notes, what we're planning to do, what the ramifications, what's the background on it. And folks can see for themselves that, oh yeah, there's a ton of virus-active mosquitoes in this area. I can totally understand why they're spraying. We don't spray because it's Tuesday night. It's not a timing thing. It's based on science. It's based on protecting the public health. And if there is no virus, we don't spray. There's two different types of mosquito control. There's adult mosquito control and larval mosquito control. Larvae is when they're in the water. That's 90% of our program, is to try to get them once they hatch out and fly all over the community. It's much harder to, it's like putting cats back in a bag. When they're in the water, we got them, and so that's where we focus much of our work, is to try to prevent them from getting to adults in the first place. Unfortunately, we're not notified every time somebody irrigates or this or that, and so if somebody over-irrigates their property, water stands for a week or two, you get mosquitoes hatching on, and then you get calls, and we go out and try to figure out where they're coming from. These are the new invasive mosquitoes. You may have heard of these in Merced County. They are prevalent. They're finding them in more and more areas all through Merced County. At the end of last season, they found Aedes aegypti, which is the yellow fever mosquito, this one up in the top left, in the city of Merced. They started putting out traps and expanding, and it just kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger. The state health department came down and took a look, and they've ascertained that these things have probably been there for several years, just went undetected. We are doing everything we can this summer, and we've received some grant monies through the CDC and the state health department. We've bought specialized traps that attract these type of mosquitoes, and we're trying to get in as early of a detection as possible. Obviously, the sooner we find them and we can get on it and try to knock them out, I don't think we'll ever be successful in keeping them out of here forever, but we can certainly, kick that can down the road as long as possible. These are mosquitoes that live in close association with humans. They can go through their whole life cycle in your house. They found them breeding in the drain of a sink, the overflow prevention drain. They found larvae down in that little thing, breeding in there. It's very difficult to control. It's very time consuming, house to house, getting access to the property, this and that. So that's why we're so concerned about trying to keep these things out of here for as long as possible. They do carry viruses such as Zika, dengue, chikungunya virus. We have imported cases of those diseases every year in Stanislaus County and in California in general. So once you have the mosquitoes that can transmit it and the cases, it's just a matter of time before we start getting local transmission of these diseases. So we're trying to stave that off for as long as possible. These are some of the traps that we use, and so I won't bore you too much with how they operate, but basically the one on the left is the one we normally use for native mosquitoes. The three on the right are the ones we're using for the invasives, and they're designed specifically for their biology and their behavior. The one on the very far right, that's just a simple cup with water in it and a tongue depressor. The mosquito will go in there, lay its eggs on the tongue depressor, because these mosquitoes don't lay their eggs on water like Culex mosquitoes do, the normal mosquitoes we have here. These lay their eggs on substrate and wait for a flood to come and activate the eggs. So they'll lay their eggs on that tongue depressor, thinking, in a couple days it'll rain and that cup will fill up with water, and so we can collect the eggs, send them to UC Davis, and they'll test them for us. So there's just some of our social media access. Obviously, our website's a great tool. If you see that big box in the top right corner next to the airplane, that's where you click to get maps of current, up-to-date maps of what we're doing, where we're doing it. We always post on Facebook and Twitter all of our activities, where we're spraying and that kind of thing. I know that, I believe last year we started with the city of Newman sending you guys for Newman-specific information to post on the city website, so we're continuing to do that. And this is something that the board has implemented, and I think it's been a very good system. Basically, we're taking the data collection to the next level. So we can now start tracking, you can see over here in this bottom right, cost by APN. We've got every property in our district in our database, and we can start tracking how much money we're spending at each property. And you can see this individual, he's way out of the herd, you know what I mean? He's way up here. And so that's not acceptable. And so these are the owners that we're identifying. And we're saying, you know, you pay the people who pay the mosquito tax are the folks that aren't breeding the mosquitoes, you know? Their tax money is being used to protect them. You're causing a problem. Just because you pay a few bucks a year in taxes doesn't mean you get to breed all the mosquitoes you want, you know? And so we're identifying these folks and saying, hey, enough's enough. You know, on this particular property, you can see that's $17,500 we spent on one person's property controlling mosquitoes. That's not acceptable, and so that person now will, you know, be abated by the board. We have started an MOU program so that if a property owner is willing to pay our costs, we'll forego the abatement process and forego the civil penalties and fines. But for some of these really flagrant owners, we're no longer just going to absorb these costs and pass it along to the taxpayer. You know? Because, like you can see, we have these new issues, and we're not getting any more money. You know, so as these new mosquitoes and new diseases come, we have to figure out a way to make the revenue we have cover these new issues that we're going to have to face. And so this is kind of a 5-10-year plan by the board, looking at what are ways that we can start talking to owners that are causing significant issues, and what are ways that we can recoup some of these costs. And so it's worked out very well. And this is just kind of another way we can visualize the data. We can, you know, each one of those circles is a cost of where we're, and in terms of cost, it's a very good data indicator. That's where we're doing all our work. You know, that's where our costs are mosquito control. So if the cost's high, the mosquitoes are high, you know. And so by using dollars, we can track where the problems are and where the mosquitoes are, and we can figure out what those properties are, what's going on. Can we solve the issue? If the issue can't be solved, well, then can we get the owner involved in terms of, you know, paying for some of these costs? You know, because at some point it's a business decision for them, you know. And so it's worked out very well. We had 100% compliance last year. We identified just to start, probably about 15 property owners throughout the district. And those 15 property owners were probably 40% of our budget, you know, out of the thousands of people in this county. So we had 100% compliance, and it worked out very well. And so we'll continue to do that moving on into the future. Just make sure that we're able to still provide the kind of service that the residents expect, you know, in the future. So that's all I had. Do any of you guys have any questions or?
Yeah, I got a couple, if you don't mind. Standing water, like people have buckets in their side here that have water and whatever. How long does it take the larva to go from eggs to larva to flying?
That's a good question. A lot of it's species specific, and a lot of it's temperature. As the summer goes on, what might have been 7 days at the beginning of the summer, by the time August, September comes, it's 3 or 4 days.
Okay.
So, you know, it's a very challenge for us because somebody irrigates on a Friday, we're off Saturday, Sunday. By Monday or Tuesday, that's already hatching off mosquitoes. You know, and so we got to come in Monday morning and just start driving roads and looking who irrigated over the weekend. You know, what's standing water. When somebody's got, you know, 2 feet of weeds in their pasture, we can't see the water. We don't know if they're irrigated or not. You know, so it can be very challenging. We've also got instances where folks during the drought didn't irrigate for several years. Now there's a little bit more water available, so people who haven't irrigated in a long time are suddenly irrigating again. So it's a challenge.
Dead birds.
Yeah.
That's something you guys want reported to?
Yes.
Who do people report that to if they come across them?
The way it works is it's a statewide program, and so the state does the testing. So they require that the bird gets submitted to them. That way it gets a number, it gets tagged. That number follows it all the way through the collection, the testing, and the reporting. So an individual can call us, but the phone number is very easy. It's 877-WNV-BIRD, West Nile virus bird. There's also a website. You can just type in West Nile, California, and you can submit birds over the internet as well. You know what? And people have told me numerous times, oh yeah, you know, I'm going to call on this bird, and 3 days later somebody's going to call while I'm at work and never pick it up or this or that. No, this program works. We're usually out there within the hour of somebody calling. It goes to the state. They have live operators. They call us. They figure out the zip code, whose district it is in the state. We get a fax. Our local operator who's out here picks up the bird, brings it in. We overnight it. It's tested, and the results are up in a few days. So, this is one of those instances where government really is working. You know, it's a good program.
And then I appreciate you guys sharing the info with us and getting it to our, management of the city so they can put it up to the citizens. That's important, I think.
Well,
So,
you know, my
thank you.
thinking is, if you're a citizen, you shouldn't have to know how to navigate all the, you should be able to go to your city site and get the info that you need to have. So we're happy to share it.
We appreciate that. I appreciate you coming out.
Yeah, thank you.
I have a couple questions. Is sort of piggybacking on something Case that just mentioned in terms of dead birds. I've had 3 birds during the period of time since I've been here that I've taken and just put in the garbage.
Sure. Yeah, happens a lot.
And now that I know, that there is an outlet for that, I'm going to call because, like, my main concern, one time I seen this bird, it looked like he had just been rocked.
Yeah.
And saying to myself, well, maybe I should call somebody.
No, we urge folks to call because a lot of times the dead birds we can't be everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And so the dead birds are a really good way for us to kind of like, hey, maybe we're missing an area. Let's go put some traps out there and see what's going on, So it's a good indication for that. It works really well. The caveat is they need a fresh bird. So if the bird's a skeleton, they can't test it, But if the corpse of the bird is, like, let's say you walked your dog that evening and the next morning you go out and there's the bird and you knew it wasn't, that's a bird you call on because if it's within 24 hours, it's still fresh enough to test. After it's started to decay, the virus breaks down in the corpse of the bird and you can't test it anymore. So it's got to be a fresh bird. But yeah. Oh, corvids. You can call on any bird, but really crows, blue jays, ravens, scrub jays, those are the ones that just are like a sponge. I mean, they have so much virus in them, they just get loaded with virus. They die within a day or two. A lot of districts will use chickens as a sentinel. So they'll set up chicken coops, and they'll take blood from those chickens every couple of weeks and see if they come down with West Nile. Chickens are like us. They can contract the virus, but they can't give it. So if, let's say you had West Nile and a mosquito bites you, you're not going to infect the mosquito. It's a dead end. And that's, for whatever reason, chickens are the same way. The virus doesn't build up enough in the chicken to be able to transmit it. So that's why they're used as sentinels. They're safe. We're not going to make the problem worse by having chickens out or whatever. And we know by being in a coop, that chicken hasn't been any. We know a mosquito in that area bit. But with dead birds like ravens and crows, they're excellent. They're very easy to test. In fact, some of these tests are like, just simply, using a Q-tip and just getting some saliva from the bird.
Another quick question is neighbors who have swimming pools.
Good question.
What's the impact of that?
It's a huge impact. We just finished last month our flyover. We do 2 flyovers a summer, and we do it at the beginning and in the middle. And we always get different pools. We wondered, well, should we do the second one? And we tried it, and man, we got hundreds of pools that went green the first go around. So we said, okay, it's worth doing. So basically, it's a big job. We have an airplane fly over, identifies all the green pools. We then have to sit down, segregate those out into cities, and within the cities we have zones that our operators work in. We divvy those all up. Each operator's handed a stack. Here's your pools. They put them in the computer and start running them. And it's basically a knock on the door or leave a door hanger. Please call us back. We have to try to get permission to gain entry. So we have to leave 2 door hangers. After the second door hanger, then we are allowed to post an abatement warrant and give the person 24 hours to respond, or we enter the property with code enforcement or the police.
So there's nothing else that could be done other than you guys being able to identify certain people? Is there anything that a person who owns a swimming pool needs to know that, or we need to make sure we're doing this every year, or we need to?
Yeah, just simply, keep the pool up. Once you let it go green and it's gonna, it stagnates, that water isn't rippling, and then we can start breeding mosquitoes. And I mean, I've been in pools and backyards where it looks like a moving rug, across the pool. There's so many larvae. It's incredible. Yeah, it's a major issue, and unfortunately, a lot of the folks, they're repeats.
And so we don't have any ordinance in terms of dealing with situations where swimming pools that are not maintained that might have an effect in terms of a small city like Newman that have mosquitoes and stuff.
Yeah, I believe we do. Our biggest challenge in where Mr. Heff has the advantage is he can fly over and we can't see into people's backyards.
Right.
So unless we get a report, and if we do get a report from a neighbor, then we contact the mosquito abatement district, and then we kind of try to work in tandem and get that done.
So it's nothing in terms of, let's say, information that we get as a city could shoot out to people that might be thinking in terms of putting in a swimming pool or have existing swimming pools that we are maybe having problems with mosquitoes, or we want to make sure that we don't have problems with mosquitoes, to where these are some of the things that we think that as residents.
Most of the time, it's going to come down to derelict ownership that's just not taking care of their pool. Probably 90% of the people are out there taking care of their investment, putting the chemicals in, running the filter, and keeping that pool up. It's the ones that decide that they're not going to do that, or the owners haven't vacated the property and they're bank-owned. I'm imagining that Mr. Heff deals with a lot of bank-owned properties that just aren't dealing with that. There's just nobody there to take care of the pool because it's owned by a bank somewhere else, and there's no pool company, there's nobody turning on filters, therefore it stagnates, thereby creating the problem.
Yeah, it's the neighbors that suffer, because again, it's what I got to before. The mosquito abatement tax that folks pay, that's for the folks that aren't breeding mosquitoes. They need our service to come out and help them while we try to figure out what's going on. And so those are our customers. It's one of those things where our customers are not the people that are causing the problem. You know what I mean? And so we try to do everything that we can to keep these pools clean. One thing to be aware of is just because the pool's green doesn't mean we don't know about it. A lot of folks just keep their pool green. We put mosquito fish in there. Mosquito fish live in there and keep it from breeding mosquitoes. And it'll look green, it'll smell green. If you're a neighbor and you have to look at your balcony every day to see it, you're not going to like it, but it's not breeding mosquitoes. So always call us because we'll have those pools in our database. Because sometimes people get sick of looking at it, so they'll dump a bunch of bleach over the fence into the pool or this or that, thinking it's going to kill the mosquitoes.
I have one last.
It just kills the fish.
Yeah, I have one last question for you. Is that how often do your service? Of course, I was here last year when someone came and talked about the schedule of spring. How often do you contact the city of Newman to say, well, okay, now I think it's time for spring, or are we scheduled every year for spring?
Well, pretty much every year we're going to be out here. It's mostly, the Newman is mostly, I want to say September, the end of the summer. That's when we start getting flood up out here on these refuges and whatnot, and then within a week or two, we're seeing thousands of mosquitoes coming this way and going that way to Destiny. And so it's pretty much clockwork, you know, we know when to expect it. Last year was a lot different because we had all the flooding along the river and stuff. But when we are out here, we notify the city to let them know. It's up on our website, you know. The thing it is, if people are truly interested, there's easy way to get the info, you know. People, you know, why don't you take an ad out in the paper? Have you priced ads in some of the local papers? I mean, it's very expensive. And we can't, and we're still not gonna reach everybody. You know, there's not a perfect solution, but the information is out there, you know. And so if you're interested, you can get it. And it's on Twitter, you get notified, you know, it's on Facebook. We try to pick things that everybody, or mostly everybody, is probably familiar with. There's always other options and things, but, you know, again, we're not gonna ever be able to notify 100% of people. But I want to assure the council that the products we use are extremely safe. When we're spraying, it's not an ag type spraying, you know what I mean? We're using what's called ultra low volume. We're using microscopic drops that you can't even see to the naked eye, you know? We want these drops floating up in the air where the mosquitoes are flying to hit, you know? If our drops hit the ground or hit patios, it's a waste of money, you know? We need an aerosol so that it's just up in the air column. We use less than an ounce for an acre of property. You know, I could take a Raid can, which is pretty much the same stuff we use, and that's more than we use for an acre in the field. So it's very, you know, mosquitoes are tiny. You don't need that much product to put in your kiln. So really the question and the difficulty is going to be if these invasive mosquitoes take place, because they're out there in the day. We can't just fly over at night, you know, like we do now at 9, 10 at night, you know, and they're out at 2 p.m., 1 p.m. They're all biting kids at school. And so how do we do that? You know, that's going to be the challenge. So that's where it becomes concentrating on educating the public and tipping over those buckets and, you know, house by house kind of thing, and just trying to get everybody on the same page. So that's going to be a big challenge for us.
Thank you, Mayor, so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Well, thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it. And if you guys ever have a problem or question, please give us a call. I gave Mike some of the annual reports, our number and contact information in there. If you need any more, please let me know. Happy to bring some more out. And with that, thank you very much.
Thank you,
Thank
Dave.
you.
Yes. Very appreciative. Okay. Is there anyone else from the public that'd like to speak to the council? Okay, there being none, then I'll move on to item 8. Item 8 is consent calendar. A, waive all readings of ordinance and resolution except by title. B, approval of warrants. C, approval of minutes of the May 22nd, 2018 meeting. D, adopt resolution number 2018 ratifying a memorandum of understanding between the City of Newman and the Newman Police Officers Association. E, adopt resolution number 2018, next number, resolution adopting a salary schedule for the Newman Police Officers Association.
Make a motion to accept consent calendar as is.
Second.
Okay, the motion's been made and second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried 5-0. Thank you. Item 9 is a public hearing. Adopt resolution number 2018, next number, a resolution declaring the existence of a public nuisance under ordinance number 95-4.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. Before you is a nuisance abatement for 2 properties. The addresses are 2026 Carlsbad Caverns Court and 1302 Tamarack Court. Both were served the proper notifications regarding the proposed abatement. The first house, I believe this is Carlsbad Caverns Court. You can see that it's got lots of tall weeds there that need to be cleaned up. Next one, Tamarack Court, same thing. We've got some appliances in the driveway, an older undrivable vehicle possibly. We've got some overgrown landscaping and some children's toys in the front yard. Therefore, staff recommends the City Council adopt Resolution 2018 next to number declaring the existence of public nuisances on each property under Ordinance 95-4.
Okay, any questions? The deputy? Okay, if not, this is a public hearing, so I open it up to the public for any comment. There being none, I bring it back to the council for direction.
Move that we adopt resolution number 2018 next to number, a resolution declaring the existence of a public nuisance under ordinance 95-4.
Okay, motion's been seconded, first and seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried 5-0.
Thank you.
10 is regular business. Approve fiscal year 2018-2019 annual budget as presented in the preliminary budget document. 1, adopt resolution number 2018, a resolution establishing fiscal year 2018-2019 GAA and appropriation limits. So we should take this in 2 parts.
Yeah, we'll take it in 2 parts. Evening, Mayor and members of the Newman City Council. The first resolution before you tonight is establishing the appropriations limit for fiscal year 2018-19. Back in 1990, the GAN initiative was passed, which sets the limit on the number or the amount of property taxes that we can appropriate to use for city purposes. This would basically affect our general fund and also our former RDA, which is the successor agency. Their revenues come from property taxes. Using the appropriate calculation, the appropriations limit is set at $14,212,481. This year, we're only budgeting to appropriate $5,980,449, which puts us under that limit by quite a bit. So the first resolution would be appropriating the $14 million number. The second resolution is adopting our annual budget that was presented at the workshop earlier tonight, with the one exception that under the City Council department, we're going to be changing that one number from 1,000 to 5,500 for community promotions, to allow us to be able to help the county out on their senior program. The general fund, we're projecting it still have a healthy reserve, 35 to 40%, depending on how this year ends up. And we should be sufficient to be able to handle all these projects. We provided the list of items for your consideration, should you wish to make any changes. Be happy to answer any questions you have.
Any questions of Lou?
Do you want to vote on these separately?
Yeah, let's do them separately. The first one.
I move that we adopt resolution 2018 next number, a resolution establishing fiscal year 2018-2019 gain appropriations limit.
I'll second that.
Motion's been made and second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried 5-0. Then we take part 2.
I move that we adopt resolution 2018 next number, a resolution adopting the budget for fiscal year 2018-2019 with the mentioned amendments.
And I'll second that too.
Okay, motion's been made and second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried 5-0.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lou. B, adopt resolution number 2018 next number, approving the annual report for the lighting and landscaping maintenance district for fiscal year 2018-2019.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, everyone. The item before you is one of 2 for tonight. The first resolution would approve the annual report that is attached for the lighting and landscape maintenance districts for fiscal year 2018-19. This is an annual item, and the report shows what NBS, all the information NBS compiled to come up with a proposed amount to assess, to assess our landscape districts, all our property owners. The report indicates that the standard CPI increase of 3.56% this year would be the increase, which is, depending on what district you're in, would be anywhere from $1 to $10 for the year. And I'll take any questions.
Any questions for the council? There being none, I'll bring back to council for direction.
Move that we adopt resolution number 2018, next in number, approving the annual report for the lighting and landscape maintenance district for fiscal year 2018-2019.
Second.
Okay, a motion been made and second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried 5-0.
Thank you.
I think you're going to do the next one.
I am.
Okay. C is adopt resolution number 2018, next number, resolution of the City Council of the City of Newman, California, declaring its intention to levy and collect assessments for the lighting and landscape maintenance district for fiscal year 2018-2019.
This is the next step in the process, which we've received the report, reviewed it, and now we ask the council to declare your intention to levy and collect the assessments identified in that annual report for the lighting and landscape maintenance districts for the fiscal year 18-19. And then also establish a date for a public hearing, which will be June 26th at our regularly scheduled council meeting. Any questions for me on this one?
Any questions for the council?
Yeah, I have a quick question.
Sure.
On these different items, have we considered any type of, I wouldn't say program, but something that we can implement into where we're taxing residents of the city of Newman, especially property owners, that we may have a clause or something implemented in there for seniors that cannot afford an increase?
You want to take that one, Michael, or would you like me to?
You cannot charge another resident for somebody else's. You can only charge them for their actual cost. If you wanted to, it's kind of like our water account. We have a program for low-income seniors. You have to use the general fund to supplement that. You can't use tax revenues to supplement, to pay down somebody else's assessment. So at this point in time, under this particular program, we would have to use general fund dollars to supplement it. And that would be a very difficult program to probably administer.
So that's something that we have not considered in terms
Not
of
for LLDs. We do it for our monthly bills for water, sewer, I think it's water and or sewer. But we do not do it for our LLD property tax.
So, okay. With that, because we're talking about different sectors in terms of increase, in terms of seniors paying extra monies, some of them might be on, let's say, fixed incomes that they may not afford to pay out of their budget. So what I'm saying, as these things increase, have we considered in terms of what we're going to do for these seniors that may not be able to afford it?
Again, I'll go back to what I previously said. That would have to come out of the general fund if we wanted to do that.
How do we consider that?
You get two other council members to agree with you and want to supplement it. We'd have to come up with some kind of program that tracks them, who it is, where they live. They'd have to submit their tax returns to us to prove that they're at a certain tax level. And then you would have to determine what you think would be the appropriate amount to subsidize that particular tax.
Well,
And then we would have to ultimately, then the trouble then becomes is, then we have to, because this goes, something goes through property taxes, and we would have to contact the county and pay that portion of that particular tax or that particular parcel. It would not be an easy program to administer. I think there'd be a lot of staff time dedicated to it, because, and then how do I go in and pay Supervisor DeMartini's tax bill for him, but I only want to, but I'm only going to pay $12 of that bill because that's what the subsidy is, $12.
Well, let me just say to my council, to my the members of the council, is that just keep in consideration in terms of our seniors here in the city of Newman. We may not be able to identify them per family, but there's a lot of them out there that are on fixed income that are suffering, and that we need to be considerate in terms of the increases that we're having in the city of Newman, that they're able to deal with these increases.
And we do that with our water and sewer programs. Just it's a different animal because it's a property tax. It's collected through the county. It's billed separately. It's not somebody coming into our department and paying us. So this particular program would be very difficult to administer that kind of subsidy that you're talking about.
Any other comment?
That's it.
Okay, I'll bring it back to the council for direction.
Make a motion, we adopt resolution number 2018, next in number, resolution of the City Council of the City of Newman, California, declaring its intention to levy and collect assessments for the lighting and landscape maintenance district for fiscal year 2018-2019.
And I'll second that with the proviso that the public hearing will be scheduled for June 26th.
Motion is made and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried 5-0.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Catherine. Item 11, item from District 5, Stanislaus County Supervisor, Mr. Jim D. Martinez.
Good evening, Mayor Martina, members of the council. This is the week for the West Side Healthcare Task Force Health Summit, and it will be held here in Newman in just 2 days, Thursday, June 14th. We will begin the weigh-in at about 4:30 or so. As you know, 2 years ago we started doing the program in the evening rather than in the afternoon. That makes it easier for people to get off work. And we realize that some people won't get off work till 5 o'clock, so we'll keep the scale there until everybody is done, but try and get there, just as soon as you can. After coming here to Newman today, I got to tell everybody about the Highway 33 is completely tore up. I mean, backhoes, and they're digging a trench and putting a pipe in the road, it looks like. So I'm going to have to send out an email to everybody, at least if you're coming from Patterson, to take an alternate route. So it's a good thing I came here tonight.
That's to keep the...
Anyway, our speaker is going to be Public Health Officer we call her Dr. Julie because her last name is so hard to pronounce, we just call her by her first name. It's like Vashampayan, I think, something like that, but just Dr. Julie. And her talk is going to, she calls it Diet 101, and it's the proper diet, for better, healthier living. As you know, a lot of us, and good part of the population really doesn't eat the kind of food that we should anymore, just convenient stuff. But she knows a lot about that, so she's going to be talking that, and also work in the value of some moderate exercise. So we hope to have everybody weigh at about 5:15 or so, and then we will start the program. This program is free to everybody, and we do have sandwiches there that's going to be brought in. We have about 10 vendors too. That they can be parks and recreation people, health and fitness, and healthcare providers like Golden Valley and Livingston Health and Doctors Hospital. We will also have free blood pressure testing and glucose monitoring too. All of it's free, and we welcome the public to it. Should be a great event. This is the number 10. This is the 10th year that we have done this. We certainly appreciate the City of Newman providing them the beautiful West Side Theater for this event. So be there. It's 4:30. The mayor is going to welcome everybody to that. Mayor Patterson is coming, and then the Mayor Pro Tem of Gustine. I don't know how many teams we have, but it's probably about 8 or so. All 3 cities do have teams, and some school districts too. So it should be a nice event. Remember, it's a free event, and so a lot of good information. vendors there for health and fitness, healthcare, and then our Biggest Loser contest. And the way out will be on August 23rd in Gustine at Miller Park. Just also, in other news, also thank you to the City of Newman. Our board retreat is going to be here on Monday, June 18th. Probably start about 9 o'clock is where we do our long-range planning. We only do this once a year, unless we have problems, and we do it twice, but we don't really have any problems this time. Our budget is balanced. And the chairmanship of the board rotates. This year is my turn as the chairman, so the retreat is always in the chairman's district. So we did ask Newman, and you guys accepted, so we'll be here. I guess it's these chambers here, as I know. No, we do appreciate that. And it's good for the board to get out into the districts. I'm sure the supervisor who lives in Riverbank doesn't get out here too often, so it'd be a good chance for her to see Newman, look at the downtown, and then look around. So anyway, we thank you for that. We'll probably be here most of the day. And we do just some strategic planning and budgeting, so appreciate the use of your facility. And that's all I have. Healthcare Task Force's Health Summit, that's the big news. Hope you're all there. Okay, that's all I have this evening.
Thank you, Jim.
Okay, thank you.
Next item, item 12, items from the city manager and staff.
Thank you, Mayor. Just for those who have kids, soccer signups, the last day is Friday. It's already in late registration area, but last day for soccer signups will be Friday, 6 p.m. would be the closing of it. And you can do that at the rec center, the youth center at Lions Park or by Materi Field. We had our first movie night on Saturday. From what I hear, it was very cold out there. But I wanted to thank Miss Megan Landeras and Jessica Hernandez. They're our rec crew that's handling things with Mrs. House's absence, and they did a really good job. I want to thank Chief Richardson, went out and barbecued that night for us and helped them with on the barbecue. So I want to thank them. Our next movie night will be Saturday, July 7th for Coco, and I believe Miss Reyes will be barbecuing that night for us in the Public Works Department. Yeah, Big Kids starts next week. So if you have kids or grandkids that are interested in Fit Kids, you can reach out to the rec department and get them signed up. And Comforting Kids car show's coming up on June 24th, and that'll be at Pioneer Park in the middle of town. It's always a good event. This one's a little bit sad. I want to let you know that Ms. Ocasio, this is her last meeting tonight. Ms. Ocasio has decided to leave us. She has a better job opportunity that's been presented to her in San Joaquin County. Her impact on us as a staff as well as this community will always be felt. She's her diligence and hard work is unmatched and always has been. And her impact, like I said, on this community is big. I mean, there's a lot of projects out here: the Plaza, the skate park, Louis J. Downtown, City Hall. I mean, they're always there. All these pictures that we see here, you know, this is Miss Ocasio, Mr. Meyer, who have done all this work. So she's definitely going to be missed. And we wish her the best and success. I know it's going to open future doors for her, and professionally, it's going to allow her to expand her professional capabilities. But we're sad that she has to go. So we're going to miss her. I want to wish everyone a happy Father's Day coming up. And then lastly, want to wish a belated birthday to the most handsome mayor in the whole town. All these.
That's the first one. I'm 81.
You still look at 81.
Yeah. No, anyway. Thank you.
Thank you.
And with that, Lieutenant, anything for us tonight?
I believe the city manager covered everything tonight. I have nothing to share.
Okay. And Stephanie, before you get to say anything, I want to personally thank you for everything you've done for this city and for me. and it's a lot. I mean, you've always very professional about what you do and how you handle yourself. We're gonna miss you. Sorry to see you go, but we're happy that you found something and you're possibly gonna lead to bigger and better things. You'll grow. That's the new chapter of your next life. So congratulations to you. And with that, you have any words of wisdom?
I just want to say thank you. It was not an easy decision to come to. Wasn't expecting to say this tonight. But I feel that it is, you know, a great opportunity for my professional development. Newman's my home. It's in my heart. This, you know, I have so much here, you know, and I love this town and I love this agency. But I feel like this is the right move for me in the right time. It's not without sacrifice and changes for me and my family. But I think, you know, it's going to be a good thing, and I'll always miss Newman. And, you know, if there's anything I could ever do to help with the transition or any issues, you know, I'd be the first to show up to try to help. So I just want the council to know how thankful I am for the opportunity to work here for 12 years. I've definitely grown and learned a lot, and without all the experience that I've earned here, I would not be able to move on to this next chapter. So Newman has definitely given me everything that I have. So, thank you.
I have something I'd like to say to Steph. I think I mentioned this to her at last city council meeting, and had not known that you were, you know, leaving the department. And I'll say this again publicly, is that, and I mentioned to Stephanie that particular meeting, is that she may not hear this often, but as far as I'm concerned as city council member, you have been doing a brilliant job. And you may not hear it a lot, you know, around the office setting, but, you know, when a person is doing their due diligence, you know, you deserve that, you know, hey, you're doing a great job. In saying that, you know, a bird, when it has hatch these little ones, at some point, they kick them off, and they got to fly on their own. So, wow.
Thank you.
God bless you, and I wish you the best.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
How do you follow that up?
Yeah, I got a budget passed.
Yeah, I thought I talked about tonight.
You know, really, you did a fantastic job with the budget. We can't, the council can't thank you enough. The city is so lucky to have you on their staff. Thank you very much for what you do. With that, Catherine?
I have a few photos to share. Will you move it for me, or should I get up and do it?
Either way.
I just wanted to share our transportation project, give you a little information, because I know that you're asked questions out there in the community, and Michael asked me to put together something for you so you can, you know, be more informed when you get questions out there, and then show you the wonderful progress that the contractors are making. As you know, this is Measure L, SB1, and CDBG project. We combined everything to have a nice project to bring in more bidders, and we did end up with a really good construction company. The first thing they're doing is traffic control, and you'll see a lot of people out there holding paddle signs. They may close down roads temporarily. They're trying to keep the roads open as much as possible, but during some times there'll be some road closures. You'll all start receiving an update indicating where they're going to be working and if there are any road closures. So keep an eye out for that. I've requested updates from the contractors so we'll know where they're at in the project. They'll be moving all over. Upper Road, they've pulverized it, and what that means is they chew up the existing asphalt that was in pretty bad shape, and then they leave it laying and then they compact it, and then they'll come back, make sure grade's right, and then they'll overlay it, and then they'll come back and stripe finally at the end. And so some of the roads, when they're pulverized like this, they'll remain in that condition maybe up to a month until they come back, because they do all the pulverization at once. Then they come in and they do all the paving. Then they'll come in after that and do all the crack sealing, and then they'll do all the slurry, then they'll do the striping. And so we'll have roads that you have to drive a little slower. They'll be doing a little bit more dust control. So you'll see the roads in this condition throughout the project for the length of the project. But it's a temporary condition. Inyo Avenue, they're pulverizing as well. They're doing a lot of dust control. It's going to be in great condition. They pulverize it and just chew that asphalt up, and they're doing a little grading adjustments where needed to make sure that we're matching curb to curb, gutter pan to gutter pan. Prince Road, same thing. You can see the big grader. This piece of Prince Road from Inyo down to that first cross street. This one, they're pulverizing it, and it's requiring a little bit more grade adjustment, so they're moving some more of the earth around. Any surplus grindings that we end up with will be put along shoulders on other parts of the project, so we get use out of it. Or they'll sell it, and that keeps our costs down if they get to retain any extra material.
Before you go off Prince, there was flooding issues there in the past. Is that going to be a lot of that was grading issue too, obviously. So that's going to be.
Some of that might be addressed. There's no curb and gutters going in on this this part of this project, but once we have the paving in, we'll observe it this next winter, and then if we need to do drainage projects, we'll address that. But the grading, the leveling out will probably help that process. We'll see what happens this winter. I'll ask the engineers about it, and on my next update, I'll fill you in on that. Inyo Avenue, the CDBG part of the project is putting sidewalks on Inyo Avenue. They're progressing, also ADA ramps at the intersections. You can see some of the excavation, and then they're forming it. They're replacing a couple driveways, eliminating a couple driveways to make sure that we have ADA compliance with the distances that we need. They're moving right along, and it looks really good out there. You can see some more sidewalks on Inyo. Hardin Road, they're just starting to pothole there. They'll dig it up and just see what the condition, how deep it is, so they know how much they have to pulverize. And then also they have to lower different things that are out in the road. So they'll dig up a water valve box and lower it so they can pulverize, and then they'll raise it back again. So you'll see little patches out there where they're doing that kind of work. Any questions? That's kind of where we're at right now on the project.
I have a quick question for you.
Sure.
As we move along on these projects, in which I'm pretty sure once we finish with it, this is going to have a true impact for our city. As we move into the residential areas, are we notifying the residents in terms of Tuesday we're going to be impacting your
Yes.
driveway?
Yes. So one of the requirements, and during our pre-construction meeting, the contractor was made aware, and they agreed that they will be doing notifications to all the residents. First of all, by posting no parking signs. So it'll give them a date. The sign, you may see them out there on Inyo right now, where it says no parking for this time frame. That kind of gives them an indication of, hey, you can't park on the street in your neighborhood or your street this week because we're going to be doing road work. The contractor is, the superintendent of the job told me that I cannot believe how nice people in Newman are, thanking us by yelling out the window for doing this job, doing this project. And so, I mean, I want to thank the community for supporting the project and not getting mad at the inconvenience. But a short-term inconvenience gives us long-term gain.
I think it's but I think it's very important that they are notified in reference to if they're going to have a blockage in terms of.
Yes, they are. They're communicating with all the residents. They're also trying to keep through traffic. So if resident traffic open and available, so nobody's not going to be able to come in and pull into their driveway, with the exception of maybe a partial day, but they'll be notified of that. Yeah.
Are you going to post pictures and things like this on our website?
We
Is
could
that-
if
is that
Mike has
something
time.
that we can do?
If I beg
I mean,
Mike tomorrow,
in
he
your
will.
spare time,
Yeah, Catherine, just a comment, you know, I've been living in this town for a few years, and I've never seen a project this big. It's a big project, and it should make a huge impact on the community. The benefit's gonna be much better roads, and a much better look at Newman, so it's exciting. It's just fortunate, and then it seems like the amount of money that we're gonna be receiving in future years is gonna give us an opportunity to keep this program going, so it looks like the roads are gonna get a lot better in Newman over the years.
Yeah, and we really want to
Thank-
thank the
thank you for what
taxpayers
you're
and the
doing.
voters. They voted in, and it's showing that we're
Yeah, it's exciting.
spending our taxpayer money on good road projects, and I'm proud of this project. It's going to be a good one for us. Thanks to Michael putting it all together, these big projects.
Boy, he did that?
Yeah,
You know something, I don't.
it's all his brainchild.
No, Michael has done an excellent job. We know that.
Yeah. Any other questions for me?
Great. Keep it up.
Thank you.
Thank you. Fire Chief?
First of all, I'd like to congratulate Stephanie, and I'll be the first one to say I'm going to keep my eyes open for Ocasio for president. Is that where it's going? It might be where it's going. I don't know. But no, congratulations.
Thank you.
Just to give you an update on some of the things the fire department's been doing, we did host a babysitters clinic along with the ladies auxiliary. It's actually their brainchild, and we just assist them with instructors. We had a total of 20 students. Actually, we might have been a little over that, 21, I think. 21. They all did great. We teach them the fundamentals of babysitting, including safety, how to change diapers, how to answer phone calls, CPR, first aid. So it's a great program, and I'm glad we can continue to do that and maintain that partnership with the Ladies Auxiliary. They actually also get support from the school district, correct? Yeah, so they get some funding from the school district. So thank you guys for that. Also want to just bring up the fact as the hotter weather comes around, people might be encouraged to spend some time around waterways. I encourage you guys to wear life vests and just understand your limitations around water and make sure you're picking water that's within your limitation. We start to see drownings, and drownings happen of all ages, not just young children. So also want to let you guys know, also with the hotter weather, be aware that fires do start a lot easier when you're barbecuing, things like that. Try to keep them out of high grass. We did have an incident last year where some barbecue grease got into some high grass, which gave us a fire at someone's house. So just want to remind you of that. Also, you might have saw us driving around in our beautiful red fire engines over the weekend. We held a driver operator course. This is a course to get our newer firefighters certified to drive the fire apparatus. This is great for our community because it'll reduce our response time. Currently, we have limited driver operators, so we'll have to wait for them before we can get those apparatus out the door. So it'll be nice to have extra drivers. And then the last thing is I just wanted to remind you guys, I sent you an email about some of the large incidents we had. We did have a huge fire off of Stir and Bell Road. If you had any questions, I can answer those for you. And then we did some school visits. We had the Barrington School first graders come out last week. We had the third graders this week, and next week we'll have the fourth graders visiting us. And it's a great opportunity for us to teach them about fire safety and show them what their local fire department does for them. Other than that, I don't have anything else unless you guys have questions for me.
Thank you, Katie.
Excuse me. So the visit you did for the school district and the one that's coming up, is that for the summer school?
Yeah, I'm sorry, it is for the summer school. So we had the first grade Barrington classes from summer school, and then third grade was today, right? Yeah, and then next week we have the fourth graders. So yeah. Yeah.
Thanks.
Thank you guys.
Yeah, Steph, good luck. Obviously, you're an amazing asset to this city and have been. In the 3.5 years here, I can clearly see your value and you're going to do great in this. So I wish you the best of luck on your endeavor.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
Lou, good job on the budget. Appreciate that. And everybody else, good job. Thank you for getting the mosquito guys out here. Very educational. I think it helps out, and I had a lot of people asking about it. Thank you so much for getting them out here. That's all I got.
Thank you, Casey.
You're not a 49er fan, right?
No, I like the Ravens.
We all have our downfalls.
Are you a Raider fan?
No, I'm not a Raider fan.
Oh, because I thought that it, well, okay. Never mind.
Well, how do we reason why? Because he's Seattle guy, and
Again, we all have our downfalls.
Oh, no, I just like Baltimore. I just always I like that team.
I just want to say I want to bring this up once again. I think I've brought it up a few times, Michael, in reference to the swimming pool and the committee that we're supposed to bring together to try to move that along as a measure. And how are we looking towards that?
Well, you've missed the 2018 deadline. It's probably too late for that. As you may recall, last August I gave a tentative schedule to the council about if they wanted to get something on for the November 2018 ballot, some of the deadlines that were there, and so we never really, from staff's perspective, we never really heard from the council that they wanted to move forward with it. So the next opportunity would be November of 2020 at the next presidential election.
So it kind of looks like, that talk in reference to us having a swimming pool and the excitement that we had behind it has taken the back burner. So in saying that, an advocate for, let's say, the kids in the city of Newman, is that we need to have something that we could not just excite the families, but to basically commit ourselves to making sure they have activity. I mean, everybody don't play soccer, t-ball, and all the rest of those things. I think that the city of Newman needs to adopt some type of water wave in terms of, if we're not going to get a swimming pool, something that these kids could take advantage of and be excited and be proud about. A swimming pool is the ideal thing, but it kind of looks like we're taking that and throwing it to the back burner. And if that is the case,
we have the big kids program that starts next week.
Excuse me, but if that is the case, we need to adopt something that is going to enhance the city of Newman in terms of our kids.
I don't think we put this on the back burner at all.
Right. But all I'm saying
No,
is
we
that-
haven't, no, we
Yeah.
have not.
Well, all I'm
put-
saying is we have not talked about it.
We have not put the pool
yeah.
on the back burner.
Okay, well, all
This
I'm
is
saying is that
something
we
that
have
if-
not talked about it. We have not brought it up. We talked about in terms of putting together a committee, and that had not been brought forward.
I beg your pardon, we
Gentlemen,
did have,
Gentlemen, you may do this in Patterson or someplace else, you don't do it in Newman. This is not the way we talk to
we
one
do
I'm just
have,
saying.
another. I know.
we
I
do
know
have a
you both
plan.
have different views on this, but what I'm saying
We
is
do
that
have a
we don't
plan
sit
for
here
the
and
pool.
argue
We do
back
have a
and
plan for the pool. And the plan did not fit a schedule that would make it available for the 2018 election. Our target is the 2020 election.
And that was discussed at when it was talked about, when I brought it back up a couple months ago.
Yes.
To
That's
start the
correct.
committee, that the 2020 would probably be the best time based on voter turnout.
Okay.
All I know is, I guess the last time I, directed this, that we were still looking in terms of a committee being joined together.
Right.
Now, whether something else has been talked about, I don't know. But all I'm saying is that I think this has been a great opportunity to involve our community. Now, maybe that wording might not be the best wording to satisfy your mind, but all I'm saying is that we need to make sure that we're thinking of our kids and our community. That's all I have.
Nick, do you have any comments?
Stephanie, congratulations. You'll be missed, truly you'll be missed. Bob, belated happy birthday. That's all I have.
Folks,
Stephanie, congratulations with a heavy heart. But we know that this is going to be a big step for you and your career advancement. We wish you the very best. And happy birthday, Bob. And the firefighters did have that baby safe sitter training session. And my granddaughter 15 years old, went. She'd been bugging us for months. What can I do this summer? I want to work. Okay, so she went through the safe sitter training. She came home excited. I'm telling you, she was on fire. She was ready to go. So we sat down and we made her a flyer, the world's greatest babysitter, CPR trained, CPR, Heimlich, and first aid, a safe sitter for your children. She went across the street to the neighbor, and she says, "You have CPR training? Oh, that's fantastic. I've always been afraid to have someone come and sit with my kids because I didn't know that they would know what to do in an emergency." She says, "My sister-in-law lives down at the end of the street. We both are going to be needing babysitters this summer." She's already got 3 jobs. Good job, fire department and auxiliary. I appreciate what you're doing. And you got her off my back. No, that's a fantastic thing. It was a good program. We got in right on the tail end of it, and the awards and the presentations, and there were a lot of parents there, and it was really a great thing. So hope you guys are able to do that again. It was really a fantastic event. Luke, good budget, good job. Catherine, keep them going on those streets. They're looking better. Thank you.
Thank you, Mary. You stole all my stuff, but that's okay. Stephanie, you know how I feel about you. I wish you nothing but the best. I know that you're going to be very successful in life, and you're going to continue to grow, and they're going to be so lucky to have you.
Thank you.
And we're going to miss you so much.
I'm going to miss everyone here too. May I make a brief little comment? I just want to personally thank Michael. He took a chance. I don't want to get emotional. I know. Hiring me back in '06. You know, not even out of college yet. I mean, he didn't have to do that. So, thank you. And I'm not going to talk anymore now.
I remember the first time I met you. Do you remember where it was at?
Probably Nob Hill.
Yeah.
Everybody knew me from Nob Hill. I either bagged their groceries or filled balloons for them or something.
She was a championship bagger.
I was. I have the trophy to prove it. My husband won't let me throw it away because he thinks it's hilarious. Thank you.
Yeah.
Good luck.
We wish you the best.
Thank you.
That's the only comments I have. But, I will make a comment. Yeah. We talked earlier about 4th of July is coming. I am somewhat irritated by, I don't know if a lot of you have read in the paper most recently, the amount of 4th of July illegal fireworks that have been, I think it was like 4 trailers. It was a significant amount of fireworks. And so there's a lot of fireworks out there. We talked about it. I just don't understand why people want to continue to use illegal fireworks. I mean, it's just, you would think that it doesn't seem to get better every year. It seems to get worse. I mean, it seems like there's more people. We have a town right to the south of us, 4 miles away, that has a beautiful fireworks display every year. You would think that families would go there, and I would hope they would take advantage of that situation. But anyway, here we go again, so we'll see what happens. It just seems like we never seem to get a handle. I'm not putting the blame on any one person. I'm just saying it seems to continue, and it seems to get bigger every year. It seems like we're almost in competition with Gustine as far as fireworks. So I don't know. So anyway, hopefully, I know it's difficult. We're a small town. We have limited resources, limited people, so it's really hard to find these people and apprehend them or whatever, go to find them. So anyway, it's just one thing that's bothering me for a long time.
And Mayor, we are working with Newman Police Department. We've stepped up our enforcement for this year. We're actually adding a 3rd fire officer on our part, so we'll work harder on it again this year. I think we had almost 8 citations last year, if I remember correctly. So it's on our radar, and it'll be in the paper. We spoke with the newspaper again, talking about our enforcement on this issue. So
thank you very much. Appreciate it. With that, I'll ask for adjournment.
So moved.
Thank Okay, motion been made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
We are adjourned. Thank